And good morning to your friends. Hope you're doing well and welcome on in to a Monday, President's Day. It is February 16th, and we are live right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, I love that your opening story today was the death of Aaron Stokes.
Yeah, so
sad. And it is sad. And just over the last couple of days here in WTN and Cumulus, Nashville, we've had a couple of teammates pass away. First of all, obviously, condolences to the family of Aaron Stokes and the Stokes family. Not only did they lose Aaron, but they also lost his son Jackson, his nephew Colin, and another Middle Tennessee CEO, a guy by the name of Austin Husky. I believe I have that right.
Yeah, you do.
Aaron was here forever. I mean, as long as I've been here, I believe that Aaron has been here as well. And I never met him. I never had the opportunity to meet Aaron, but because his show was, of course, on the weekends. And but from the feedback that you get from listeners, the feedback from people that did know him, he was just an incredible guy, absolutely incredible. And so from our family to the Stokes family, and of course, they were part of our family here at WTN. Again, prayers for the family. The thing that I loved about Aaron is that just hearing his story, he was so incredibly well-rounded. I mean, he did have, obviously, I believe, 5 locations of Eurofix. So we had that. We had the Saturday morning talk show here on WTN. And he also ran that. It was almost like a school for auto repair shops. That's what it seemed like to me. And so for Aaron Stokes and the Stokes family, just prayers to all of the family, because that is a tough one to get through. We also, and we didn't really mention this on the air, but I feel like we also should mention the fact that we also had another death here in the WTN family. And we'll get into that coming up at 5:35 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A guy named Ron. And he was, I would say, one of the unsung heroes here at WTN and Cumulus, Nashville. And Ron was a great guy as well. And we'll talk a little bit about him at 5:35 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We have a lot of news to cover. Again, we are live here on President's Day, and the Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. Just to let you know where we are going, EJ and Tony is going to be joining us at 6:35, a fresh look at last week's better-than-expected inflation and jobs numbers. We'll speak to EJ at 6:35. At 7:35, the TVA is at it again. Guy by the name of Jerry Mansfield. He is a Sumner County commissioner. He's going to be joining us at 7:35. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend. John Rich is absolutely on a rampage because the TVA, they are, I mean, there's no other way to say it. It looks like they're going to try to take over a part of a farm in Sumner County. This is like a 7 or an 8 generation farm. Joan, you reported on this story last week where this is a farm out in Sumner County, and the TVA, they want to put these massive transmission lines. Now, if you don't know what a transmission line is, have you seen those really, really tall, I mean, I don't know how else to describe them. They're those big metal poles, and they've got all of those cables on them.
They're towers.
They're massive towers, is what they are. And so the TVA, apparently, and we'll get the entire story from Jerry Mansfield at 7:35, but the TVA just shows up to the Gregory farm, again, 7 or 8 generations, and they just start looking at the farm and wanting to, figure out where they're going to put these massive transmission poles. And the Gregory folks, the Gregory family, they have no idea what's going on or why suddenly the TVA is taking a look at their property. So now you've got John Rich on the scene. You've got this Jerry Mansfield, the Sumner County commissioner. He is talking about this as well. So we'll get into that at 7:35. It's almost like the TVA, they just decide that they're going to do something, and the communication, I'm going to say that they communicated this, but not really well. And they caught the Gregory family just completely off guard with all of this. So we'll talk about that as well, and a whole lot more straight ahead. Nashville's Morning News, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There's been another Epstein drop. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, but I need some audio. There's been another Epstein drop. Now, Pam Bondi says this is the last Epstein drop. This is everything. This is all the names. This is all the video. This is everything that the Department of Justice has. Now, I got to ask Joan, have you seen any of this?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have too. Tim Burchett did, and this is part of what he had to say over the weekend.
If you're offered an opportunity to view the pictures or read the files, I would seriously consider not doing that, because it will haunt you, this stuff that's in there. And here's the problem. The Biden administration, the Obama administration, these files have been out there forever. And I've said this many times. If they had the goods on Trump, that the Obama administration / the Biden administration, because it never really changed hands, they would have had that stuff out there. And this stuff just goes so deep, and it is very disgusting to me. And, it's evil, it's satanic, and it's from the pits of hell. And that's where these people will end up. So
I saw a couple of videos, and one, it looked like, and I'm not going to get into, a deep dive on the videos. You know what the problem, Joan, is that you don't know what's real. You don't know what's real. You don't know what has been conjured up on the internet with AI. So you really don't know what's real. But I saw one video of what looked like a little kid being, what would you call it? Like electrocuted with some sort of a probe. He was sitting in a chair.
Gosh.
Horrible, horrible thing.
Oh,
and again, don't know if it's real. I don't know if this is something that has been made up with AI or whatever. But so I did see a couple of videos. Another one, regarding a small girl, and I just, I only watched a few seconds of it. I felt even creepy watching it, but I felt like I should at least see some of it for show prep. But it's out there. A long list of names was also released. I'm sure you saw that, Joan. Tucker Carlson, Ron DeSantis, George W. Bush, Pramila Jayapal, a Democrat congresswoman, Lindsey Graham, Kurt Cobain, Nikki Haley. There was over 300 names on this list, but there was no context.
Right, so you don't know why they're in there.
You don't know why they're in there. It's sort of like, if Ron DeSantis was mentioned in an email, then his name was released. So you have no real knowledge as to why they're, mentioned in the list or in the files. Kurt Cobain, Nikki Haley, Phil Donahue, oddly and randomly enough, was his name was mentioned. Robert De Niro, Ben Shapiro. You know who was on the list? Elvis Presley, who died back in 1977. So I don't know why this list was released, unless it was just Pam Bondi saying, you know what? You want names? Here's a bunch of names. And that's what they did. But Elvis Presley died in 1977. I have no idea how old Jeffrey Epstein was in 1977. But I think that his inclusion on the list, just sort of confused the situation. Beyonce, Cher, Bruce Springsteen as well. There's 300 names. And I'm not going to read all 300 of the names. But here's what the letter has. This is what the letter says. No records were withheld or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, political sensitivity, including to any government official, public figure, or foreign dignitary. In Bondi's letter on Saturday, she explained that all of the files relating to the law have been released, which have been categorized into several different sections. So what did you see, Joan, as far as this release over the weekend? Did you see any videos? Did you seek it out? What did you?
I did not seek out videos. I can't do, like you said, you can't get it out of your head. No thanks.
Well, that's what Tim Burchett said.
Yeah. I'll let Tim Burchett and others watch it. I'll just listen to the description. But I did see that she released the names, and I'm perplexed as to why she would do that.
In such a fashion.
Right.
Without any context.
Right. And then, I don't know if you've seen this, it was the names at the bottom, the signature on the letter or whatever, form this release took, were her name and Todd, who's the assistant?
Lyons?
No.
No, it's not Todd Lyons. Todd.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
He's the only one that signed it. She didn't sign it.
She didn't sign it?
She didn't sign it.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, I'm not sure why that is, why she doesn't want to stick her name to this list, but she did not do it.
Well, she put out the notification that there would be no other releases. By the way, they talk about in all of this ritualistic sacrifices, cannibalism, Satanism as well. The whole thing is described as a satanic circle. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what a satanic circle is, but I have a pretty good idea. So these things that are mentioned in the files, they're mentioned as emails, accusations, references to cult activity, but they say that there is no physical evidence of anything specific. So again, I did see a couple of videos online that were clearly disturbing. And again, I don't know what was real and what is not.
You know what?
The part of the problem, Joan, and then
Yeah.
You'll say what you want to say, but part of the problem is there's a bunch of links out there. I'm afraid to click on the links.
I know.
Because I don't know if these links are real or if I'm going to end up with some sort of horrific virus on my computer. So I don't know. It's a little freaky is, I guess, the best way
Freaky's a good word for it.
The best way to describe it. What were you going to say, Joan?
So, in all of this, I think all of us still feel that frustration of, okay, thanks. But when do heads roll?
Right.
They've got Prince Andrew, who's no longer a prince. They've got him nailed. They have everything they need. There are photos of him that we've all seen. Mm-hmm. They have got him. Why is he not charged? Why are nobody has gotten a single charge lodged against them?
They have more against Prince Andrew than anyone else.
Yes.
And so that's almost like the benchmark. It's like, okay, so if you are not going to press any kind of charges against Prince Andrew, well then what is the hope that any of these people who have been doing these horrific things, they're going to get charged either? You know what I mean? And that's exactly right. We have all of this mountain of information. My question would be, okay, you have all of this information, but what evidence is there? What evidence is there that could ultimately end up leading to someone's arraignment, arrest, and court of law and going to jail? That's what everybody wants to know. As you said, Joan, when do heads start to roll? One thing the Democrats will say is, oh, look, Donald Trump's name is in there thousands of times. And yeah, that may be true. Donald Trump's name may be in there thousands of times. But remember what has been revealed. That Donald Trump was a whistleblower.
This morning, a new document coming to light claims in the mid-2000s, President Trump called police about Jeffrey Epstein. Among the 3 million Epstein files released by the Department of Justice last month is a 4-page FBI report on an interview the Bureau conducted in 2019 with a man believed to be former Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Ryder. Ryder and his detectives began investigating Epstein for human trafficking in 2004. According to the document, Trump called Ryder around that time and said, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this." Ryder also says Trump said he threw Epstein out of his club, and he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. The former police chief says Trump told him to focus on Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, saying she is evil.
All right, so Sam says, Joan, that he might know what a satanic circle is.
Oh, gosh. Please, Sam, do let us know.
Well, specifically,
I can't hear you, Sam.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
I don't know why that was taken out. So it can specifically pertain to a group of people out to not necessarily just worship the devil himself, but a particular demon that would be known to bestow certain gifts if you so acquiesce to their request.
You talking about like human sacrifices?
Yeah.
Okay.
And specifically, you referenced that video of the kid getting electrocuted.
Yeah.
Well, that was part of the whole QAnon conspiracy, right? Where they would torture these kids, get that adrenaline to pump up.
Yes.
And then they would drain their blood.
Okay. So.
Got to put the tinfoil hat on every once in a while.
But you know what the thing is, and I've always said this, is you can call people who have been asking questions about Epstein for years as, tinfoil hatters or conspiracy theorists. I've always said conspiracy theorists are oftentimes the ones that see what is going on before anyone else. So whether or not we end up seeing people arrested, who knows? There is a political operative named Dana Chasen who helped advise. Listen to this. Dana Chasen, because we just heard ABC News have to report that Donald Trump was essentially a whistleblower, right? So Dana Chasen helped advise Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. He has also donated more than $2 million to the Democrat Party. Well, he's accused in the files of helping to transport young girls to Jeffrey Epstein, a Democrat who helped advise Hillary and has donated more than $2 million to the party. Don't forget Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna. It is WTN's Steak of the Union. I'll be there. Chris Hand will be there. Chad Benson will be there. Murphy Show will be there as well. I think Weaver's going to be there too. So if you want to come on out, take some pictures, enjoy some steak, and have an overall good time, find out more details for our Steak of the Union, 99.7 WTN.com. I want to play this piece of audio real quickly. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she is talking about, of course, the Epstein files. Then we're going to move on to some other things, because from what I understand, Joan, hijinks and shenanigans in the Olympics, have the Canadians been cheating?
Apparently so. Actually, Sam knows more about this than me.
Yes, and we'll get to that as soon as we get to this. Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about the Epstein files.
So in the meantime, President Trump is calling it Epstein, the whole thing a hoax. Yeah. He's calling it a Democrat hoax. He won't have anything to do with the women. He still refuses to have anything to do with these women. So this whole thing is building. The women are saying President Trump did nothing wrong. They still say this. President Trump did nothing wrong.
I know.
Their attorney says Donald Trump's the only one that helped us. And guess what? That came out in the Epstein files, that he reported Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. So the whole point that she's trying to make is, why is Donald Trump not embracing the Epstein files, the release of the Epstein files, and all of that? And one of the things that she goes on to say, and I'll play the audio later on, but one of the things that Marjorie Taylor Greene says is that she says that Donald Trump said to her, well, a lot of my friends are in these files. And I think part of what, I wouldn't read too much into that, because there's 300 plus people, their names have been released, as we were talking about before, but no real context. So
he's also talked about the opportunity for Democrats and people on the left to insert his name or insert him in some way in a false fashion.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would be skeptical of it, too. I mean, this is all designed to get him, as everything is that they do.
That is exactly the point, Joan. That is exactly the point. Donald Trump, he's all about things that are tangible, right? Donald Trump likes his name on buildings, and he likes clear successes. And I believe that he's got a lot of successes. The economy's doing great. The situation with the border is really good. We're obviously working hard on illegal immigration, deporting all the bad guys. But he's got a lot of things to be proud of. And I think that for President Trump, he understands, I think now, he does understand how important the Epstein files and accountability, he knows how important that is to some folks, a lot of people all across the country. I think that he understands that there's so many, rabbit holes with this thing, that, as the president has even said, this will never go away. And so no matter how much information they release, there's still going to be people that will say, well, there's still information out there, and there's just never going to be any end to it. and it'll never go away, and it'll distract people from all of the things that he truly has done that, really has helped America's pocketbooks and so forth. But I do understand that people need to be held accountable if they did anything wrong. The question is, will anyone ever be held accountable? Because a lot of the names that have been released and a lot of the names that people talk about as having done something wrong, Peter Thiel is one of them. You've got all of these names out there. Steve Bannon is another one. There's no actual proof. You'll have people online that will say, well, we know that he did this. Really, what proof have you got? Like, what actual tangible proof do you have in video or in writing or in audio or whatever? What proof do you have? I mean, I'm willing to listen to anything, and I'm more than certain that some of these guys did some really awful things. But until you have the evidence, until you have the proof, they're just accusations. We got to get them. You got to get the evidence. You got to get them in a court of law. They've got to have a jury of their peers, and you've got to be able to hear the evidence. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of noise. And I'm with you, Joan. When do we start to see heads roll? The classic example is Prince Andrew. Okay, real quick. Let's talk about the cheating Canadians. Then we're going to talk about one of the unsung heroes here at WTN. But very quickly, let's talk about the Canadians cheating in the Olympics.
At curling.
At curling, of all things.
Yeah, so the heat kind of started Friday night, Canadian men's team versus the Sweden team. One of the guys on Team Canada is apparently notorious for this double touch move. Mm-hmm. According to the rules, the launch line, otherwise known as the hog line, you're supposed to let the rock go by the handle. Well, this guy's known for kind of taking his finger down and touching the side of the granite at the last second.
Now, can I describe real quickly, though? And Joan, you've seen curling.
Yes, I have. But you're using terms like, what did you call it, a rock?
Yeah, that's what the curling object is called.
Basically, curling is like bowling on ice, kind of, sort of, or shuffleboard on ice.
It's a combo between shuffleboard and bocce ball because somebody's got to be close to the center.
Yeah.
And what they do is they take their little scrapers and they manipulate the ice in front of the rock as it slides down the ice.
Yeah.
And that's how they can curl it around things.
Right. So apparently one of the Canadians touched the rock after it went across the line.
Yeah, and you're also not supposed to touch it by the granite, which is where he poked it. So the Sweden men's team had set up a camera on that line for this guy specifically, and they caught him. And on hot mic, you can hear him. They're saying, "Hey, by the way, you double touched it." And he goes, "No, the F I didn't." And the Swedish team is like, "Yeah, you did." And he goes, "No, the F I didn't." Even louder on NBC Sports and Peacock. Mm-hmm. And then the Swede goes, "It's okay. I show you after game. I show you video." And so that was Friday. Saturday, the women's team got into it with Switzerland, where a Canadian women's player accused of double touching the same thing, except this time the officials caught it. That stone was disqualified, rock, whatever you want to call it. And now Team Canada is up in arms about how they're being treated at the Olympics.
Well, if they cheated,
not cheating, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if they cheated, then they deserve to be penalized as such. So if they have the proof that there was cheating, then they got to be disqualified.
Apparently, the referees do not use video replay as of right now. You think in 2026 that would be a thing.
Really?
So when the Swedes presented them with video evidence, they could not rule on it because they're not allowed to take video evidence into consideration. So the Canadian men's team on Friday was allowed to get away with it. Everybody on the internet reacting to this guy double touching it.
Right.
It was insane. The fact that they're going to dig their heels in and not own up to it. I mean, even the women's team that was caught by the officials saying that, we never cheat. How dare you?
What were you saying about condoms?
Oh, yeah. There's a shortage.
There's a condom shortage at the Winter Olympics.
They went through 10,000 condoms in less than 72 hours at a Olympic Village population of, I believe, only 3,000 people.
You know.
Do they not know that women weaken legs? Sorry. Go on, Joan. What were we going to say?
A lot of these sports require
nothing
strong
now.
legs.
Wow.
Oh, is that it? Okay, so I guess we're going to move on. I want to say one thing. So, Joan, you and Sam know Ron Wallace. So we've had a lot of death. I mean, I've had just a lot of things happen over the last couple of weeks. So here at the radio station, Ron Wallace was a guy who was our production director. And most folks didn't know who he was. You probably, if we played something of Ron's, you would hear his voice and you'd know, oh, yeah, that guy. He passed away suddenly I guess it was about 2 weeks ago. So it's interesting how habits form. So every day at 9 o'clock, I would leave the radio station. Sam and Joan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'd leave the radio station through the back door, and I would go down that long ramp, and Ron Wallace would just be arriving into work. I've been doing the morning show for, I think, 4 or 5 years now, whatever it's been. Every day for like 5 years. Ron and I would pass each other on that ramp because he was like I had never seen somebody as such a creature of habit at what time that he would arrive every single morning. So, sometimes we would, chat. Sometimes it would be, hello and goodbye. But, wonderful, wonderful guy. He was in a prior life a big DJ out in Memphis. If I remember right, he actually interviewed Elvis Presley, and he worked for, a lot of the famous music moguls out there in Memphis. Just an amazing, amazing guy. And he, unfortunately, he was in the 70s, and he suddenly passed away. So I would absolutely call Ron one of the unsung heroes of WTN because he made sure we run a lot of commercials on this radio station, in case you hadn't noticed. And he's the guy that used to have to make sure that all that stuff ran smoothly. And he was such a wonderful guy. And every time I walk down that ramp, Joan, I miss Ron. Yeah. It's like, this is when I would talk to Ron, And so I personally miss Ron. I know a lot of us miss Ron as well. They had his funeral a couple of days ago, I think down in Alabama where he lived. And just a wonderful guy. And, of course, here at WTN also, we are mourning the loss of Aaron Stokes. We talked about this a little bit in the earlier here in the 5 o'clock hour. Killed along with his son Jackson, his nephew Colin, and a guy by the name of Austin Husky, a Middle Tennessee business owner. And Aaron Stokes, if you don't know, he was the guy who hosted Fixing Cars on Saturday morning. Long-time fixture here at WTN. He owned Eurofix, I think 5 locations across Middle Tennessee. Wonderful, wonderful guy. I didn't know Joan, but he was a youth minister, something like that?
Youth pastor and a missionary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just an amazing, amazing guy. Clearly an entrepreneur as well. And so, on this Monday, the President's Day, we're mourning the loss of Aaron Stokes and, of course, the unsung hero of WTN, Ron Wallace, as well. I want to play, and so prayers for all the families involved. I want to play, did you see Hillary Clinton get absolutely owned?
I loved this exchange more than anything else in the world.
All right, so I want to play this. This is Hillary Clinton, and she is absolutely fact-checked by a Czechoslovakian politician. And by the way, you do know that there was a time when this would never happen, when somebody would stand up to Hillary Clinton. My, how times have changed.
Well, first, I think you really don't like him.
That is absolutely true. But I really, not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think that there is something good that will come out of it.
What I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something for some policies that really went too far from the regular people.
And he's obviously right. By the way, this is a Czech Deputy Prime Minister Peter Messina. And I wish we could do video, but the faces, Joan, have you seen the faces that Hillary was making?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
She is like eye-rolling like you wouldn't believe.
Like what?
Too far from reality. So, we saw the cancel culture. We saw the woke revolution. I don't agree with the gender revolution.
The funny thing is, Joan, she's laughing.
She's laughing, yes.
She's literally laughing at this guy like he's not making any sense. And he is making sense. This is precisely, among other things, this is precisely why Donald Trump won. Because of the woke cancel culture, because of, the issues with illegal immigration, Biden allowing all these people across the southern border. I could go on. I could extend this to an entire segment. Maybe I will a little bit later on. But the fact that Hillary actually doesn't even acknowledge that this dude even has a point.
Climate alarmism.
Which gender? Women having their rights?
Let Peter go on.
I think there are two genders. So, but some of us think that there is more than one or more than two gender. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct. So this is something that went too far.
But does that justify selling out the people of Ukraine who are on the front lines dying to save their freedom and their two genders? If that's what you're worried about?
Can I please finish my points? I'm sorry that that makes you nervous. I'm really sorry for that.
It makes me nervous. It makes me
Yeah, you gotta love it. By the way, can I ask, how is Donald Trump selling out the people of Ukraine? He's not.
Over gender. Like, that was the dumbest thing
well, I don't know what Hillary is. She's just...
And we kind of went past it really quickly, but she was saying, he said, something about there's men and women. And she said, what part bothers you? The women get their rights?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
What?
The only thing she's talking about there is abortion.
Yes.
It's whenever, women's rights.
Yes.
It's the only thing you mean, really, is you want to be able to kill babies.
Has Hillary had some work?
I don't know, but she is as frumpy as she has ever been.
Well, she looks like she's either had some work or she needs some. I don't know. I'm all about aging gracefully, but Hillary she looks a little bizarre these days. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think she probably, though, needs a brain transplant. Yeah. I think of all the body parts that needs to be traded out or upgraded, I think it's her brain.
I'd go for a soul first. But to your question about why she's laughing at him, that's the horse tranquilizers kicking in. And then they very quickly dissipate and wear off, and you see the be itching she be doing in public.
She didn't look good. It was not a good look. And the fact that, this Czech politician is basically just owning her and in front of all of these people shows you, in my opinion, how irrelevant the Clintons are at this point. And whether it's because of the state of the Democrat Party today or it's because Bill's involvement in the Epstein files, I don't know. But I think clearly the Democrat Party has moved beyond the Clintons. But here's the other thing. You could look at the gaslighting of the American people. I mean, this Czechoslovakian politician talking about the woke policies of the Democrats. I mean, it wasn't just I'm going to air quote this, the woke policies, but it was the gaslighting regarding Joe Biden's cognitive decline, clear cognitive decline. It was the partnership with the media to continue to forward that narrative. It was the border is secure when clearly it was not. It was letting all of those people in. It was up over 9% inflation. So, Hillary and her ilk can sit here and be and moan about Donald Trump. But the reality is things were a heck of a lot worse under the Democrat regime than right now where we are with Donald Trump. I mean, the Republicans, love them or hate them, I believe that they're doing really well. It looks like we may end up actually getting the SAVE Act passed. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We have a partial government shutdown, right, Joan? DHS is shut down? All right.
It is shut down.
So, there's still things that are going on that, need to, that we need to cover. And that the Democrats have now shut down the Department of Homeland Security. So, this is something that they're hoping will turn the tide against the Republicans. And I do understand there's a lot of people that are saying, and I'm one of them, that there are dangers ahead in the midterm elections. But the better the economy looks, and we got some very good numbers on Thursday and Friday. The unemployment numbers, I think, were out, and those looked better than expected. Inflation better than expected.
It was the number of jobs created.
The number of jobs created. Thank you, Joan. Mm-hmm. And We've got E.J. Antonio. E.J. Antoni is going to be coming up here at 6:35, going to talk about the economy and not only what we have seen, but also what is coming up, here in the next couple of weeks, and maybe some predictions heading into the midterm elections. But I think the Democrats, whether or not they're willing to admit it, they have some problems. And Republicans, obviously, we have our own issues as well. We'll see how it all plays out. But it was just fun to see Hillary Clinton get absolutely dunked on over the weekend.